scheduled.
Okay, let's wait then.
Yeah, Naman, we are live now. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session on Introduction to Google Summer of Code. This session is being hosted by Google developer student groups at IIT Chennai and in collaboration with IIIT Hyderabad. We have Mayank here, who is going to be the host for this session, and Mohak is our co-host. He will be joining soon. He is down with dengue, so he might not be able to contribute properly, but he'll still be there for some time. So over to you, Mayank. You can start now. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I am Mayank. I am a third-year computer science student at IIIT Hyderabad. I was a GSoC contributor to Open Chemistry this year. I am actually still working on the project. My final submission is it's due in 10 days actually. Except from academics, I am also a trained sketch artist. I like to travel and actually explore new cultures. Okay, so let's actually get started with GSoC. Okay, so how many of you have actually heard about GSoC? Can you post it on YouTube comments?
I think more people are here on the Google Meet, so they can also use the chat if they want.
Yeah, please post it on the chats. Okay. Okay, I see a few responses. Okay, that's nice. Okay, so I see actually most of you have actually heard about GSoC. Okay, so I will be actually starting with GSoC by not telling you actually what is GSoC. I will be starting with telling you what is not GSoC. Okay, so there are a few misconceptions that people have about GSoC, and even I have before I applied this year. Okay, so a few misconceptions about GSoC. Okay, firstly, it's not a summer internship at Google. Okay, it's different than that. Okay, and it's even more amazing than that. We will get into that in a few slides. Second thing, it's not a job guarantee at Google. It's not true. If anyone is saying that to you, it's completely false. Okay. Third point. Okay, you must be a computer science major or a coding wizard to get into GSoC. Another lie that most of our friends tell us. I can tell you, I am not a coding wizard. I am okay at coding, and still I got into this. And if I can, it's probably you can as well. Okay, we will actually get into all of these points in a while. Fourth point. Okay, it's very hard to get into GSoC. Not true. Not true. Okay. Fifth point. Okay. So this is actually one of the misconceptions that I had. I thought it was a solo project that I have to do over the summer. It's actually very different from that. In actually reality, you will be working very closely with actually a very large community. There will be hundreds of peoples, and you will actually work and collaborate with them, and you will actually get to meet tons of new people, tons of new nice amazing people, people who are really really talented. Okay, so then what is Google Summer of Code about? Okay, so the only thing actually Google Summer of Code actually misses it in title is open source. It's all about open source. And this presentation is actually we will actually motivate to what open source is and why a lot of people in today's time actually talk about open source. So how many of you have heard about open source development? Can you please post that in chat? Okay. Yeah, I see a lot of people have heard about it. A few haven't. Okay. So, okay. So people have heard about it. Okay, so I will dive deep into what open source is and why should you care about open source in the first place. Okay, so wait, what happened? Apologies. Okay, so open source development. Okay, and okay, so I will tell you actually what open source really is. Okay, so open source basically means that okay, so there is some project and it's like source code is available to the entire public. So anyone can view that code and even modify and like redistribute it to other people. And there are like a lot of famous examples of open source, and open source isn't like something that is like actually very new. It has been there for a while, and like many of you would have actually use some of those projects in your real life. Here are like a few of them. Okay, so first, like Linux kernel. Okay, so people who use Linux, you would have you know this. People who don't use Linux. Okay, so if you know, Android is actually based on like Linux kernel. So like the kernel of for Android is actually based on Linux. So like Linux is like very popular, and like almost all the servers around the world, they basically use Linux. So like Linux kernel is like very popular, and like the source code for it is like available publicly. Okay, and like okay, second, it's probably like the most famous. It's probably the most famous example of open source. That is like World Wide Web. Okay, so it's the backbone of internet, and it's actually this open sourceness which actually gives it like the power. Like, why is it so powerful? Why is it so impactful? So if actually CERN would have like kept like World Wide Web like within its domain, like within its like laboratories, it wouldn't have really been like that powerful as now it is, and like the kind of impact it has on our own lives. Third, Python. So people would have used Python, like some of you, and people who know it, it's open source. Even like you can contribute to it, you can help develop it, you can modify it, and it's actually done by like tons of people. So so in case of open source, there isn't really someone that owns it. It's like available for free for like public use. Okay, so why is open source popular like right now? Okay, so these numbers are like approximate, but as you can see, like the number of open source projects every year, they have been like increasing by a lot. And okay, and like some of these open source projects probably you would have seen as well. Okay, so how many have? Okay, so can you? Okay, so can you like post in chat how many of these do you know? Just count and post, or you have like used the the some of these. Suppose like how many you have heard and how many you have used some of these famous ones. VLC, NumPy, Git, Blender. Blender is used for animations. Git for version control. Pandas and NumPy for like Python. Apache Spark, this is for a web server. Django, same, it's used for a web server. PyTorch for like deep learning, it's a deep learning library. Internet Archive, okay, so if you have some website which is not available right now, but it was previously available, you can use Internet Archive. Okay, and this is like a very small fraction of the list, and like the actual list is like even more like actually like bigger than that. So I had to like actually sort like which open source project I actually wanted to keep in the slides. And actually like all of these open source projects like all of these open source projects are a part of GSoC, so you can actually contribute to them. So now you probably understand like why I said like GSoC is like more further than actually like doing an internship at Google, because you actually get to like contribute to like these open source projects, and these projects are used by like tons of people. So any kind of contribution or any kind of like features that you implement, they actually impact like a lot of people. And it's like so fun to actually like go through the code base and like fix stuff, implement new things. That's what like really open source is all about. Okay, so this brings us to okay, so like why Google Summer Code, and like what connection does it have with like open source? Okay, so okay, so like Google Summer Code, they basically want to like promote like the open source philosophy. So like all the projects that you like saw in like the previous slide, so they were all the projects that you saw in like the previous slide. So all of these are like open source, and you can like contribute to them. Okay. Next, and these are like really like diverse projects. So few of these like LibreOffice, these are like general purpose. Internet Archive, it's another something like general purpose. VLC, this doesn't even have anything to do with like coding and all. Blender is for like animation. There are like tons and tons of like open source project, and these are like highly diverse, and you can like contribute. Okay, and it's a global collaboration. sorry. Okay, no issues. It's like a like a global like collaboration. So you will be like working with people all around the world. So there will be like okay. Can you please mute your mic?
Yeah, muted them.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so you will be like working with like people all around the world. So they are going to be like, and it's going to be like really fun. And you will have like a lot of meetings. Some or even like actually ask you to like come and like join in like some of their events and all. So you could actually go. Okay, so let's get to GSoC now. Okay, I hope like people like actually understood like what open source is all about. I didn't like really go into like a tons of detail about open source, but I actually wanted to like give you like a flavor of what open source is and what is it all about. If anyone has actually question about like open source first, please post it actually. You can post it on the chats. I will wait for 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, no open source background for me. Can I get selected for GSoC? Completely yes. I before this year, even I didn't make any contribution to open source technically in terms of code base. And actually, open source contribution like actually don't even don't only mean actually like you contributing in terms of code. There are like tons of other ways in which you can actually contribute. So like a big part of it is actually like documentation. So you have like libraries and you actually want to like write like documentation for it for like public use case. Okay. So in that case, it's not really like technical work in terms of like writing code, but this is like something that is even more important than code as per me, because like it's actually your documentation for your like framework or library, which actually helps you helps like someone else actually use what you have like coded up. And in fact, there is another program like similar to GSoC that is organized by Google. It's called GDSC, Google Summer of Docs, if I remember. Yeah, it's GSoD, sorry. Yeah. So you can look into that as well. And it's like really fun. And there are like tons of orgs which actually ask people who can actually contribute to their like documentation and all. Okay. Okay, so questions regarding like GSoC and all, I will like answer them later for sure. Okay. Okay, let's get started with like the GSoC timeline. Okay, like skills and all, I will like get into this like for sure, like actually like properly. Okay. So okay, so like timeline for the Google Summer of Code. Okay, so if you so we can like divide like the timeline into like 4 periods. Okay, so this is the application period. It's like starts around like Jan, not for you guys, for the organizations, and it goes on up to like April. Selection announcement, this like generally happens in May, like middle of May. Then there is the coding period. This varies on your project. I will talk about it, and then you file evaluations. Okay. So like GSoC actually consists of like 2 types of projects. So there are like the middle-sized projects and there are like large projects. So like middle-sized projects, those are basically like 3 months projects. So it basically like spans from like about like May till like August 10, and then there are like the large projects. So they span about like 6 months. So it like normally starts in like May, and it like goes on up to like first week of November. Okay, and actually like the pay is also different for them. So like for middle one, like for the mid-sized projects, you are paid about like $1,500, so it's like $500 a month. That like translates to about like 40,000 rupees a month in like INR. And for like the large projects, you are paid like $3,000. Okay, and like we'll get to like we will get to into like get the project size and all, and then there is your like final evaluations. So actually if you get selected into like GSoC, actually that doesn't mean that you will be paid for sure. You have to do work, and like based on your work, there is like a pass and fail decision. Okay. Next. Okay, so this is like a proper this is like the complete timeline of how like the GSoC projects like looks like. Okay. So first is okay, so this you don't really have to deal with. Organization application period. Okay. So organization. So okay, so in the previous slides, so each of these are basically technically these are basically an organization. Okay. And there are like tons of organization. I can show you. Give me a minute. I will share my like entire screen so that you can see the browser. Okay. So can you see this? Browse. Yeah. Okay. So there are like tons of organizations. So it's like about like 150-ish, I guess. And okay, and actually like within each organization there are like a bunch of projects. So few of these you may have heard of, like Chromium, like GCC, TensorFlow, if any of you, Jenkins, there is Sun HSF. So it actually expands like a very like wide like category of projects, and even in terms of also there is like something for everyone. So even if you're even if you're not like something, even if you're not like a pure computer science student, so there are going to be like projects. So like Sun HSF. So basically deal with so they deal with like projects which are on like the intersection of like computer science and physics. Something like open chemistry, they deal with like projects on like the intersection of chemistry and the computer science. And actually like similarly and all. So there are going to be like projects for bio. There are going to be projects that deal with like mechanical engineering and all. So there is like something for everyone. So this is something that you can look into. Then okay, there are like projects. Okay, so if you like click on an organization, if you click on like the idea list, okay, so they will have like a bunch of projects. And essentially in your GSoC application, you have to write like a proposal for like for a project. So if you click on the project, it will basically like summarize you. So like what this project is all about, like what all you have to do, skills. So what all skills are required, then your mentors, and just like preferable if you could like contact your mentors before like writing the proposal. There is going to like the project repo and all, and so on. Okay. So there are going to be like more detailed like project proposals. I can open one of them, I guess. Do they have it? So let's say something like deep order encoders. Okay. So this is the idea of like the project. So what they're basically like trying to do. So they basically so like what I get from this is they're basically trying to like compress like physics data using like autoencoders, which is like a type of like a deep learning technique. It's like it's a model for like a neural network. So these are your task ideas. So this is what you have to basically like do. This is what you have to like do like throughout the project. These are the this is what they basically want as like your final results, and these are like the skill requirements. These are mentors, some previous work, and additional info. Okay, and so okay, so for like few projects, they actually mention like the difficulty in they mentioned that like the difficulty. Then there is the duration. So 350 hours basically corresponds to a large project. 175 hours corresponds to like a mid-sized project. Okay, so that's about like projects. Give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Organization application. So each org has to actually apply for they have to like apply to GSoC, and they have to like actually like list all their projects. And based on that, actually like Google's like selects those organizations. So this is what happens like from like actually like January up till like first week of March actually. So this actually doesn't like really concern us. Like this is where the actual application starts. Okay, so okay, the contributor application period. So this is where you have to like actually like write the proposal, then proposal review. Okay, the contributor projects. Oh, sorry. Okay, so I will do a little more hands-on stuff. Give me a minute. Let's do a little more hands-on. Okay, so first about actually like picking a organization, like how to pick an organization and all, and how to actually contribute to open source. Okay, so there is something that I want to like contribute to. Let's say I want to contribute to something like Python, let's say. So I can just Google like Python GitHub, and it will open like all the like the source code like for Python. Okay. Yeah, for the programming language. Okay. And if I know, like the code base of Python is like fairly huge. Okay. And there's going to be one thing. So if you want to contribute, so they will have like a developer's guide, which will like actually like make you go through the entire code base and how to actually install it, issue trackers and all, and how to contribute. So they will have like a lot of resources, code of conduct status. This is something that you can like read out, and it's going to like vary based on like the project. So if you go on to the issues tab there, so they will have these labels. Okay, and if you're like contributing like if you're contributing for the first time, there is going to be like labels for like first timers. So people who are like contributing for like the first time. Okay, first time issue. Okay, Python doesn't have it. Yeah. So based on this, there are going to be so if I go based on like dependency, something like that. You know, let's see. Yeah, easy. Okay, so they have for easy. Okay, so these are like so these are bugs that even like you can fix, and these aren't like really hard to fix. So if you want to actually like start out with open source, so this is how like this can be like the first this can be like a good way to like start out. So from discourse this, okay, I was confused by the first line in the docs for future. Future is a real model and serves three purposes. What is real model? Okay, so it's essentially so they basically want to like fix like the documentation for it. Okay, so if we click this, so here it explains the entire issue to you. Okay, yeah, okay, so we have to change like the annotation for it, and okay, I can do this. I don't know whether like the time will allow me for this. Okay, but like this is how you actually start off. So like based on this, yeah.
Bro, I think you can hear me right. Like,
Yeah.
you read it really so quick. Like you are like a pro. You just read the problem statement and just. Can you just
Yeah.
explain what was the problem statement was?
Okay. Okay. So I will go slow this time. Okay. Okay. The future model in Python is a special tool used to change the behavior of the Python compiler. It is allows. Okay. So they are basically trying. So they are basically talking about. They are basically talking about like a module name future. Okay. And it's basically an annotation error. So from future, import and annotation enables postponed evaluation of type annotation, which is a feature that became standard and later version. So using this import, you can write code that takes advantage of this feature, even if you are an older. It's a model that Python documentation relevant. Okay. So they are basically asking you to make like a change to the documentation for this. They're basically saying like what's like written. So they're basically asking you for like a change in the documentation essentially for this. There aren't like really like a cool changes for this. I will explain it through like another example. This time slow, sorry. So something that's okay. So something so it's another okay. So here since there's markup, so it's improve markup. So it's another doc issues. Should type features. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go slow. Okay, support for a new line argument was added to the write text method in 3.10. I've been using this method, but I have found a need for new line method in retext as well. I hope this scenario will be handy, namely reading and writing the original lines. Okay. Okay, so it's basically saying, okay, so I have a function named like write text, and for that I have an argument named new lines. So it can either be true or false. So if it's true, like whenever it like writes a line, it will add like a backspace, like a backslash n at the end of it. Okay, he basically wants to do like the same for like a read text. Okay, so if you like consider some text, okay, so it's going to have a line at the end of it. It's basically there is like a backslash n, and if we are like reading it, we basically want to ignore that backslash n, right? So it's basically saying this feature has been implemented for like write text. I want to do the same for like read text. So one way I can do is I can like I can like read the entire text, and I can like remove this backslash n's. So this is what this proposal is trying to say. Okay, and like after this, okay, so this is a minor feature which does not okay, and there has been no like previous discussion about it. Link to previous discussion of this feature. Okay, I have not found any prior discussion or mention of the new line arguments retext in a bit. Yeah, so this is what it's trying to say. Okay, and if I want to like contribute to this, I can implement this function. Implement the argument like for retext. And I can make a pull request to like the Python like GitHub, and after some reviewing, they can basically accept mine. So like what I contributed to the like the code base, that is basically implemented, so everyone can use that. I hope it's clear. Yeah. So that's how you contribute. Okay, so if you actually want to start contributing, there is one thing you should like really learn. Like that is like Git and GitHub. Like okay, so independent of the project, this is something that will like help you a lot, because like most of the projects, they are like posted on GitHub, and you will be doing like a lot of like version controls and all. So it's preferable if you can actually like learn like Git and GitHub like prior to this. It will like help you a lot. And these are and this is like something that I think we can like do. Okay, this is like a fairly like easy stuff to do. It's basically I have like read the entire text. I basically want to like remove all like the backslash n's basically. This is how we actually like start contributing to open source. So it's like true for like all orgs. So there are going to be like some issues which are going to be like harder to fix, and some which are like easier and like good for a first timer. So based on the label, you can actually like filter out those. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Where was I? Okay. Organization allowed announced. Okay. Contributor application period, proposal review. Okay, so let's get to the application. I will be showing my application as well. If someone wants, I can send that as well. Okay, I see a question. Is there any website where we can see all the orgs and have various filters? Okay, so just like Google like GSoC. Okay, I will show this. If you Google GSoC, there are going to be like all the organizations, and you can see like the for the previous years as well, like 2022, 2021 and all. Okay. Can I get a project on GSoC for only once, right? No. Okay, so for like GSoC, so you can do it like 2 years. So like that's the max. That is good source to learn advanced Git. Okay. So there are some like really good videos by a free code camp if you want to learn like advanced Gits. Like those are like really nice. Okay, so let's get to the application side of things. Okay, so yeah, there's like one more thing that I actually want to mention about like orgs. So when you're like actually choosing an orgs, it's so when you're like choosing an org, okay, firstly you can apply to like multiple organizations and actually to like multiple projects. So I think they have like a cap of I think like 3 projects, like 3 applications which you will draft. And it's like, and it's actually preferable to actually it's preferable to actually choose based on the projects instead of orgs, because like some orgs are like truly highly diverse. So like something like ML for Sci, they are like projects are like very diverse. So it's preferable it's if you choose based on the project, and because like even inside like one org, there are going to be like projects which are going to have like varying difficulty. Okay, what is better, applying to a small organization or a small one in terms of complexity of the projects and ease of selection? Okay, so in terms of ease of selection, so like bigger organizations, those are going to have like much like larger contribution the competition. So something like Python or something like TensorFlow, it's like very popular. So those are going to have like a lot of competition. So like orgs which are like not that much known, they are going to have like a lesser competitions. In terms of complexity of the project, it completely depends on the it completely depends on the project. It's like independent of the org. Is getting assigned for the issue compulsory in big repos before making PR? No, that's not at all. You can just make a PR and actually like below that issue. So yeah, so after you make a contribution, so you can basically comment here. So your like pull request ID. So that you fixed it, and based on that, like one of the the moderators will actually cross check your pull request, and if it meets the standard, he will accept it. Let's say we contribute to an organization, but it is not selected by org. Then what will happen? How do I approach this problem? Okay. So in terms of GSoC, so like the organizations, they have been like fairly like constant. So there are like some orgs which have been there for years and which like probably will be there. So you can like search for like orgs which have been there, and actually like most of like the orgs, they have been in like GSoC for many years. Okay. Let's get to actually. Okay. Yeah. Choose the project based on a tech stack. So I will just like repeat once more. So yeah, so you can like just Google GSoC. There are going to be like organizations. I've opened this for 2023. If you type 2022, you can see the program projects and all the organizations. Let's say, and for each of those organizations, you can see like the project ideas and like what and since this was okay, and if there is a project that has been completed, you can see like the course, like the source code for it, like the report for it, and what all did the contributor do. So this is how you basically choose a project. When you're choosing a project, try to choose something that like you have the knowledge of in terms of tech stack, and it is something that like interests you. It's something that is interesting. Like it will be like really fun to like work on like something that is like very interesting to you. Okay, so that's on like selecting an org for it. Okay, next. Okay, yeah, like writing an application. Okay, that's like a big part of it, and I think I can like go through my application. Just a minute. Yeah, is it visible? Yeah, cool. Okay, so I was a contributor to Open Chemistry, and basically like my project was active learning based basic geometry optimizer. It's a very fancy title. It's basically like what we are trying to do was we basically wanted to like find out like the lowest energy conformer for a given molecule. So we wanted to so we wanted to like write a like optimizer in Python for it. Okay. Okay. So some orgs will have like a set framework of how you should like how you should write a proposal, and it's like preferable if you can like give like a proposal to them in that given format. Okay, so this is the synopsis of basically like what the problem is and what we are like actually trying to do. So this is an introduction to like why finding like the lowest energy conformer is a very big problem, and like what all like current work has been done, and why like we should work on this basically. If you want, I can like share this. I can share my proposal to you, and you can like read it out completely. So this is like the introduction session. So we don't really like talk about like how will we be doing it, but it talks about like a bigger problem, like a bigger picture of what like a bigger picture for like the entire project. So after this, there are like the project details and all. So this is where we basically like get into like the intricacies of our project. So like basically like what I'm like trying to do. So active learning with Bayesian geometry optimizer is going to be like a molecular like geometry optimizer based on Python with support for both local and global optimization of molecules. The Bayesian optimization custom to optimize will be implemented using PyTorch, PyTorch, and yeah. So this is like more of like the technical like okay, this is more of like a technical segment for it, and this is what all I like actually like plan to do during my GSoC basically. So these are like little technical and yeah. So we'll have the introduction, then there are like the technical details, like what we are trying to do. So then there were like some challenges. Okay, and like this was the groundwork. Okay, so in my case, we were basically trying to like write a library in Python from scratch. So we didn't really have anything that was previously there. But in case you are working on something that already had a course base, so it's like preferable if you can like make a few like pull requests on that, and if you can like write it, and if you can actually put that in here, that actually makes a very big impact on this. Then there is like the projects, okay, the schedule and timeline. So how we are basically like going to like progress to this. And my availability. So I had like so mine was like a 6 month project. So I told that I will be like much more available in like summer. So I plan to get like most of the work done there, and from August onwards, I will have after August onwards, I will like finish like the remaining part, was like 25 to 38%. Some experience, okay. And actually, like before like writing a proposal, it's preferable if you actually talk to your mentor. So like below the project page, there will be the email address of like the mentor, and it's like preferable if you like talk to him, like send him your resume, show your interest in the project, and like preferably if you're like working on a code base, try to make some like pull request on that. Okay, so that's the project side of this. Okay, I see a few questions. Okay, which are the major tech stacks we should learn for GSoC? Okay, so like tech stack wise, it actually completely depends on your project. So if you're like working on something that is like more on the website, so it's like preferable to learn like the MERN stack, like Django. I hope you get that. If you're working something on like app development, it's preferable to learn Swift, Kotlin, or Java. If you're working on like a ML side, it's preferable to learn like Python and like all the like the ML libraries you normally use, or Julia. So it depends on your project actually. Okay, okay. So like there is one thing that you should like actually like definitely learn, and that is like actually before GSoC, that is like GitHub, and how to use your command line. These are going to be like very, very helpful. Okay, I confused. Should I create a proposal myself? I thought I only need to participate in an existing. Okay, you have to write like a proposal. So for like my project, I can like show you like what that project idea list was. It's open chemistry. Yeah. So this was mine basically. Like you can read this out. Yeah. Sorry. This one. So like the project idea, they don't like really explain it like much detail. they gave you like a brief or like what they're like planning to do, and then you have to like figure it out and all. It's like much better, like it's much better to like actually talk to a mentor. Yeah, and based on this project idea, you have to write a proposal, and you can actually like send your draft to your mentor as well for him to review. He will make some like suggested changes, make those changes, and after that submit. Uh, okay, okay, cool. Uh, yeah. One more thing that I wanted to do. Yeah. I mean that's it mostly from my side. If you have any question, you can like okay. Like I will be handing over like more and he will be sharing his experience. Hi Naman, is Mohit
Yeah,
here?
what's up?
Uh, is Mohan here? क्या कहते हैं, Mohit?
Yeah, so he won't be able to make it. He's sick at the doctor's.
Okay, no issues. I can continue, I guess.
Yeah, you can continue. If you want, you can even start the Q&A session if you're done with your slides.
So I'm like mostly done with my slides. You can, yeah, we can start with the Q&A session. Sure.
Okay, cool. Everyone who has questions, honestly, it's better if you can raise your hands and you can unmute yourself to ask questions. If you can't do that, then you can use the chat box.
Okay, I already see a few questions. Okay, can you share a proposal? Yeah, I will like send it to like Naman, and he will like send it to like all of you.
Works.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the ideal time period to contribute to the code base and start making PRs before the GSoC application starts? Like, do we have to do it for a couple of months, then get the write-up proposal? So you have to like contribute a code base. So it takes some time for you to understand the code base. So you can start it as early you want. It's completely on you. In my college, they are basically telling us to do prepare for GSoC in a team, but to be honest, not many are showing interest. So does that even hamper? Okay, GSoC in teams. Okay, so GSoC selections are completely individual, and uh, you can contribute to like the code base like together. In there can be PRs with actually like multiple contributors. That is something that GitHub allows. Um, yeah, but in terms of like the GSoC project that you're going to be choosing, it's completely individual. Will this presentation be shared to us? I think like Naman can answer this better.
Yeah,
I
I'll share this with everyone.
Yeah, okay. When can I see my application? Okay. On your GSoC portal, you can just like log in and there will be your application. I can show you to run. Okay, I am not logged in. Uh, so, uh, yeah. So you can go to my profiles and there you will see your I had a proposal as well, right? So yeah, here since I'm accepted, I see like my acceptance links. Here you will see your proposal. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I didn't show a screen. Please friends. Okay. Okay, hello. I just wanted to know, as a Web3 developer who specializes in Solidity, JavaScript, Rust, and into smart contract development, is there any possibility of finding an organization in this domain? Okay, there are actually like tons of orgs which actually like work into this, and even there are actually few more other open source program like GSoC. So you can learn, like you can look into the summer of Bitcoin. It is something that is completely on like smart contract development and blockchains. That might be something that is like more interesting. And okay, and there are like few more other open source like programs like GSoC, like MLH. There is Hyperledger by Linux Foundation. Then there is the Summer of Bitcoin. So you can look into those as well. Okay, for a total beginner, what would be your recommended roadmap, including learning about Git and everything? So I want to contribute mostly to ML. Okay, so like there is no universal like roadmap to like contributing. It actually depends on a project, because like the projects are like highly diverse. You don't really have like a roadmap. So like some basics, yeah, like the Git and GitHub, and even like command line, those are like common. And even like basic programming. So those are like the bare minimum. After that, it completely depends on like what type of project you are like actually trying to do. So if you want to like actually contribute to ML, so start with probably like learning like the libraries first. So start learning like the pandas, start learning the matplotlib, then move on to like scikit-learn and like the PyTorch and all, and also like the theory side of ML. So there are like few fantastic like lecture series that I watched myself. So there is one by Kilian Weinberger. I can type out the name. So he has an amazing he has an amazing like lecture series on uh, ML. You can check it out. Series on ML. Yeah, I typed it out. Okay. What is a code base? Okay, so code base are basically all your files, all your code files. So if you have like written like if you have programmed in C or Python, so there will be like a .c or .py file that has been generated. So like when you're like writing like larger programs, there will be like multiple of such files, and you put all those files in a folder and you call that folder code base basically. Please summarize your slides once again. Okay. Give me a minute. I will share it again. Okay. Yeah, it's visible. Okay. So I wanted to first basically like talk about. I first basically wanted to like remove like the misconception that people have about Google Summer Code. After that, I actually wanted to talk about like open source. This is like one thing that you like really learn in like GSoC, and like why is it important, and why you should actually like contribute to GSoC in the first place. And open source. So like some of like very famous like open source projects, and like if they haven't actually been like open source, they wouldn't have been like as powerful as they are now. So something like World Wide Web, if it would have if it would have like stayed in like the laboratory and so on, like it was created in like 1990s, so it wouldn't have been like as powerful as it is like today's. So this is one thing that open source actually enables us is like for projects, there are like tons of contributors, and it helps in like actually developing that project. So that is why like tons of companies actually put out their projects like out to the public. So something like TensorFlow or PyTorch, those are like very very good like libraries. And like and actually like one of the reasons why they are like so powerful is because they are open source. Same goes for something like React in on the side of like web development. It's again open source. Okay. After, yeah, I basically wanted to motivate like open source for you all, and then like discuss like the application process and like the timeline for GSoC. Okay. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
So my question was that like I can only apply for 2 times, or like if
No,
I
okay.
only
So
get
you can
selected.
no, you can apply multiple times, but you can only be like selected twice. So like I did GSoC this year, so I can do it like next year as well. But after that, I can do it anymore basically. there is a max cap of like doing it twice. There is no max cap on applying.
Okay. Or one more thing. So, what would you recommend? Like I have a medium knowledge in whatever tech stack I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
So, should I perfect it before I apply for GSoC, or I can like try at least one
Sorry,
time? And
I didn't get you. Like, I didn't get your question properly. Sorry.
like my proficiency level is medium right now. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm not perfected my skill set. So should I try
Yeah,
GSoC this
okay.
time?
It's completely fine if you okay. So we also like felt like a lot of overwhelm like when we were like applying for the project, because like the code base is like is actually like very huge, and you are like how can I contribute to it? It's like the same experience for actually all of us, but as like the time goes, you actually like get like comfortable with it. It's completely like fine if you're like feeling okay. How can I contribute in the first place? It's completely okay uh, to have that feeling. And in terms of skills, okay, so I like learned like a lot of skills like during the process, like during GSoC. So there were like tons of stuff which I didn't like really knew that well. So something like PyTorch, I wasn't like really good at it, but I like learned it over the process. So it's something that you can do even if you have like a medium experience. It's like good enough to start with.
Okay.
It's
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. I mean there is no expert who like starts with like GSoC. Like almost all like of the contributors that I know, there are some in my college, there are some of my other friends who are a part of GSoC, but actually like none of them is an expert. All of them are all of us are like medium level coders only. But as you contribute to the project, you actually get to learn. So it's completely fine.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, some projects for beginners, and most importantly, and the basic skills one should have. Okay, some projects for beginners, you will have to go through like the project list actually, and there they will have a section on like difficulty, and you can see whether it's like easy, medium, or hard, and based on that you can decide and like the skill set for this. Okay, and most important and basic skills one should have. One should know GitHub. One should know a basic programming language. I think that's it. If you know that basic skills, you can get started. Okay, all right, hands. Okay. Okay, it's basically the source code of the organization. Okay. Uh, sorry, I was a bit late, but you also cracked GSoC. And if yes, could you please share a brief journey about it? Okay. So my journey of GSoC. Okay. So I started in, I think like February. Okay. That was late, actually. That was very late. So okay. So like my project was, I told you about my project. So it was active learning based Bayesian geometry optimizers. So we were basically trying to predict like the lowest energy conformer for it. So um, so like my mentor, okay. So he has like written like a very popular like chemistry software. It's called Avogadro, if like some of you have used. So I actually wanted like really like work with him. So I like looked into the project. It was on a Bayesian optimization. I didn't really know Bayesian optimization at that point of time. So I learned it over like probably like a month. I like looked at like some code base which he was like trying to refer to, or like what he was trying to like do. I stayed touch with him, and based on that I applied. So actually I started out like very late for like GSoC. Yeah. Uh, I know some people who like started out in like November-ish, but it depends. Yeah. And yeah. Okay. Okay. When we apply for GSoC, the organization also see our GitHub profile and our contributions. Yes, they do. So you will be like actually sending them CV, and in CV, it's like preferable to mention your GitHub profile. Yeah. Okay. How tough is getting selected in GSoC? I mean, what's the probability and how to increase the chances of getting selected? So as per the statistics, so I think like some 6 or 7,000 people apply, and around like 1,000 get selected. So it's like a 1 in 6 probability. And this distribution isn't like really uniform, because like some orgs have like they're like very comparatively. So something like TensorFlow is like very very competitive. So it's like harder to get selected in those orgs, or something like Seven. Some orgs like you wouldn't have heard of them, so people don't really contribute to them. Like or some orgs which are like which are actually new. So in those orgs, like the contribution is like much less. Um, And it also like depends on like the difficulty of projects. So some projects which are like very difficult or like niche, so like I don't think like a lot of people like apply to them. So there was this one project on like quantum the computing, specifically on like quantum machine learning for ML for service. So that was like very niche. That was like completely research based. So I don't think like a lot of people applied for that. So it depends on the project and it depends on the org. New project list released. So it's like released in like Feb, around like Feb to like end of Feb actually. Some good lecture series that you would recommend for Python. There is a very I will type out the name. It's like Corey Schaffer. He even has one on like Matplotlib and like Pandas. It's like really good. For Python ML, I personally suggest should be close by or let me know whenever. Okay. Hi, it would be great to know if you could tell us more about TensorFlow. Can you please tell like what you want to know about TensorFlow, like specifically? How to find less competitive orgs in given tech stack? You will have to go through like the org list. There is no shortcut for that. If contributing in an organization and in GSoC, if I apply in an if contributing in an organization and in GSoC. Okay, I have mentioned like the YouTube channel name. Just search for it on YouTube. It's very good. If contributing in an organization and in GSoC, if I apply in another organization, is it good? Sorry, I didn't get a question. Like, can you like retype it?
Okay, so like I should go for the popular projects. Like will it be counted toward my portfolio positively, or I should go with less popular like?
Okay. See. I mean, in terms of portfolio, okay, I think it's like what actually matters is like what skills you actually like learn, actually like during GSoC. And if you apply to like a less popular org or like a more popular org, it actually doesn't. I don't think it like really matters that much. Firstly, and I don't want to like actually like discourage like contributing to like popular orgs in the first place. Okay. Those are like really good projects if actually you want to look out to them, and there are people who get selected. Okay, it's just like you will have to work hard. That's it. And I think like those projects, like some of them are like I really like. If contributing in an organization and in GitHub, if I apply in another organization, okay, good, okay, in another organization, okay. Is it really good? Okay. Okay. I think there were like a couple of questions during the start. That I had to answer. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute. You said we don't need to be a diehard coder. So any example for the same? Okay, I know a friend of mine who is not at all a diehard coder, who is like not at all like not even close. And he got selected. Yeah. No open source background for me. Okay. A third year UG student can apply for GSoC. Yes, you can. What skill to be selected? Is there any website where I can follow? Okay, I sent. Wait. Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, sorry. I sent a direct message. My bad. Okay. Give me a minute. Sorry. Yeah. Corey Schaffer. How to stay in touch with the mentors and organization? Any tips? Just contact them on email. Some organizations might have like they have like some chat interface like probably Gitter or something like that. Okay.
Slack or something maybe.
Yeah.
Slack.
Yeah. Slack as well. What is the difference between a project idea given by an organization and the proposal proposed by the contributor? Okay. Actually, a very good question. Okay. So like project idea is basically an outline of what they're trying to achieve. So they basically say, okay, so like I can like talk in like context of my project. Okay, so we want to implement like a Bayesian geometry optimizer to find like the lowest energy conformer for a molecule. So that's like the project outline. So like the project idea given by the org, we'll talk about that. Okay, as per the contributor proposal, you have to mention how do you like plan to achieve that. Okay, and like yeah, like that's the crux of it. Like how would you actually do that? So you have to mention your timeline, you have to mention like the challenges, what sort of background you have, and all. Yeah. How do I connect with the organization matters before GSoC, and does that provide me an edge over others if I connect and start contributing with them beforehand? I think it does. How to connect? You can actually see. Okay, if you go on GitHub, okay, so so there are going to be so you can see like the moderators for that like GitHub repo. So like the creators and all, like who are like who all are like the contributors to the okay for that like repo. And
I think you need to share the screen for
like,
that
this is
Google.
my okay. Give me a minute. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. It's visible now.
Yeah.
Cool. So if I go something like, let's say TensorFlow. Okay, TensorFlow, GitHub. Yeah. Okay. So they are going to be like contributors here. Okay. Okay. So these are like the more frequent ones contributors. You can talk to them, or like any one of them basically. So if I let's want to talk to him, he has his email ID. I can just send him an email. Yeah. Okay, will maintainers of the project provide us some resource to learn that specific project and contribute? Okay. Yeah, they do. So they will have some kind of a documentation, or they will like provide you like a brief overview of the code. Stack Overflow can be immensely helpful because it has so many posts that basically covers all the program readers and even us. True, completely true. I use it all the time. Like I think everyone does it all the time. Yeah. Like lastly, I suggest you start going to you don't have to Congress. Yes, I completely agree with your advice. Completely. Yeah. Okay. Should our proposal align with the project idea? Yes, it should. Yeah. Like there are some there are some like project ideas which are like open as well. Where you basically have to like look for you basically have to suggest the project. So there was one by I think OpenStreetMap where you had to actually like suggest like a proposal, like what you're trying to do. So if you have used open source, OpenStreetMap, there are like features that can be implemented in that. So you had to like suggest an feature and you have to implement that. Like that was last year, so it may change now. Will the okay? Can I submit separate proposals to each org or say use you have to submit a separate proposal for each like project. So so for each org definitely you have to submit a different proposal, and if you're applying to like two projects in the same org, you have to submit two different proposals for those. What has to be written in the proposal, like how do we start understanding of the project, how do we show our understanding of the project? So if it has a code base, go through the code base, try to fix some like first time issues, and try to show your interest into that. If you don't understand anything, just contact the mentor. Okay. Will companies shortlist candidates who have contributed in their code base before, or there's a chance of getting selected on the basis of proposal itself? Okay. So in terms of code base, okay. I think like normally like companies they prefer people who have like contributed to their code base than people who have just like just like written a proposal. So if you have like contributed to the code base, it shows like some baseline understanding that you understand the code base to some extent, and and it like kind of gives them a proof that you will actually contribute. You are someone who is like suitable for the project. So it's highly recommended if you contribute to the code base before. Should we wait to prepare? Should we wait to prepare the proposal until the projects are finalized? Okay, so proposal like writing has to only be done like after like the projects are announced. Before that, you can contribute to the org code base basically. What language can be a good starting point to get into GSoC? Um, okay. Uh, okay, so it will depend on the type of project. So if there is something on the system side, so it's so you should learn C or C++. If it's on the side of like data science or like machine learning, it's prefer to learn like something like Python or Julia. If it's on like the website, it's preferable to learn like Munstack and all. Same for like app. It's preferable to learn like Kotlin or like Java. So it depends on the project. Yeah, you should know like one programming language and like the programming basics, such one thing, so that you can start out with like any language. Any more questions? Okay. What are the current projects? What are current? Those are listed here. Okay. So like 2023 projects, like these are like the past projects now. So they will announce like the new projects in like 2024. So sometime around Feb. Okay. Okay. Can you one show where can I see the details of project statement? Okay. Sure. Okay. Consider. Yeah. So you go to anything. Let's say Ruby. Uh, Ruby interpreter. So you go to the org website. Like there is like a idea list, and these are all like the project ideas for this year. And if you click on like one of these, so this is like the entire like details of it. Yeah, till here. This for like one project, like this is for another project and so on. Okay. In a nutshell, we have nothing to do with GSoC until the project is announced, right? Yeah, but you can like contribute to their code base. So if you you can like start contributing like now as well. So like the thing is, basically it takes time to like understand the code base and actually like make pull requests. So like that's why it's like preferable if you start early. Can you one okay? The project that I want to contribute is mostly using IRC. What is IRC and how effective it is to find people? The UI looks so old compared to Slack and stuff. IRC. Okay, I also have no idea about IRC. Sorry. Okay. What if we didn't like any projects after announcement, but we are contributing to an organization for 3 months and now we don't have time for contributing to another org? Sorry, Tanmay, I didn't get your question. Okay. Okay. What if we didn't like any projects? We are contributing to the organization for 3 months and now we don't have time. Okay, wait, sorry. I think I get a question. Okay. So projects, and now we don't have time for contributing to other orgs. I mean, okay, okay. This is a very like rare the situation. One thing you can do, okay, in that case is, so if you're like contributing to an org, so there are going to be like some mentors who handle like the GSoC component for that org. So you can like contribute to them. I think like we are done with like all the questions. I am handing over the mic to Naman.
Okay, thank you so much, Mayank, for taking up this session and taking all the questions that the students had. I'm sure everyone who is here, so they really enjoyed the session. I think we almost hit about 170 people attending the session at one point. So it was a really great session. I would request everyone who is here in this session to please join in the IIT Madras GDSC chapter if you are not part of it, so that you can also receive updates on the upcoming sessions that we have. And if you are joining in from Triple IT Hyderabad, then you can join their GDSC chapter. If anyone else would like to add something, Prisha, if you're here, if you would like to add something. I think she isn't. Okay then. Cool. Thank you so much everyone for attending. Mahesh sir, can we close the YouTube live now? Okay. Cool then. Thank you so much for joining in. I'll end the meet now. Thank you so much, Mayank, once again.
Thanks, it was a pleasure having.
Okay. People in the chat are asking the link for the GDSC session. Yeah, sure. I'll just share it once again in the chat. Just give me a moment.
Proposal. I will like share that with Naman and he will share that with me.
Sorry?
So there was like one question about like okay, the proposal. I will share it with Naman and he will share that with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it on the GDSC thing. If you want the proposal, please make sure you're in the GDSC chapter. I've shared the link once again. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye. Goodbye.